Hey everybody, this is yet another video regarding Time Warner Cable. Now this video is going to personally just be an audio track of me speaking about a very recent experience I had with them. But anyways, this is very closely rival the experience my neighbor Steve and Mary had with Time Warner back about 2 years ago or so, when they went from just internet to internet and TV. Now, of course, I did a video regarding this. That video is called the Time Warner Cable AAA Disaster. Basically, neighbors, they wanted to switch, as I mentioned, just from internet to also include TV service, and they were sold phone, home Wi-Fi, and the service was very shoddily installed. And you'll have to check that out if you really would like. But anyways, today I'm going to be talking about an experience that I had recently with Time Warner Cable regarding my parents. Of course, you may know I recently moved out to my own place, practically right next door, just about. And when I moved out, I basically swapped my parents back over from Ultimate 200 to Standard, which in a TWC Max, the Ultimate 200 is 200 megs down and 20 megs up, and Standard in this area is 50 megs down and 5 megs up. Because basically, I had a promotional offer with Time Warner to where they were giving, Ultimate 200 speeds for no additional price for a year, and that was about to expire, and my parents don't need Ultimate 200 internet. So basically, in the process, when I swapped them back to Standard internet, I also swapped the modem back over to the one that we had previously before starting the promotional offer for the 200 meg internet. So basically, I took that modem, which is a Surfport 6183, moved it to my new place, and put their Surfport 6121 back into service when I swapped their internet speed back down to Standard. And that's where the problem started. You may think, okay, the modem's bad. Well, I mean, the modem hasn't had any history of showing any issues. So anyways, I didn't notice it right away, but my parents didn't notice it when they were starting making some phone calls with their MadJack Plus. They had MadJack Pluses like I do, and I noticed when they called me, you had a hard time understanding them. You could barely hear them sound like basically. It sounded like a cell phone and very shoddy reception. Basically, what was going on with this was their upload was not very stable. The download, they were getting around 54 to 56 megs down, but up they were getting between 0.3 to maybe 2 megs up. And the thing about it was, it wasn't a solid connection. It was intermittent. So basically, any speed test would just sort of average out the bumps, basically. So the upload was very terrible. So anyways, this last Saturday I called Time Warner Cable and wanted to have them take a look into the issue. Okay, so the first lady I spoke with, you could barely understand her, which I did record both these phone calls as well. I'll tell you the second phone call here shortly. So anyways, I called Time Warner Cable's tech support, and they set me up with this woman who you could barely understand, and apparently didn't have a clue what she was doing. I mean, of course, I had to explain to her, I'm actually in IT. I've already taken care of the vast majority of the basic troubleshooting steps, and if there was something going on with the computer or my router or whatnot, I think I would have noticed it before I would have called you guys. So basically, she gave no real definitive answer on what was going on, and in the process knocked their modem offline completely, basically deauthorized it from the account in the process. And it got to the point where I pretty much demanded to be transferred to a supervisor, and she did transfer me, and that person did pick up basically they said that the cable signal over there was having intermittent signal problems over there. Turns out they were not. And the issue, I mean, for Time Warner Cable's tech support, it should have been so stupid simple, and we'll get to that shortly. So anyways, man's like, oh, your upload, your upstream signal is not very good. And it's like, okay, well, what we can do about that? And it's like, well, we're going to send out a technician to look into the signal and get this corrected for you. So, in the process, they also reauthorized the modem and got it back online, so at least you can at least browse the web, but it's not have, like I mentioned with the upload, when you have intermittent upload, your web browsing even gets affected as well, let alone making phone calls over voice over IP. So anyways, here's where things get really freaking interesting, and I regret it so much I didn't just walk over there with the camera when my mom told me that she needed me over there for a few minutes. Because I tell you, I'll be honest with you, this technician rivals the one who installed Steve and Mary's TV services back, like I mentioned a couple years ago. I mean, it was freaking awful. And my mom even quoted today in a text message saying, that technician was a total waste of time, because he was a total waste of time. He came out and this is before I showed up. This cable man tried to, and he was actually a Time Warner technician. I mean, he had a Time Warner Cable shirt and everything on. He was actually with Time Warner Cable, drove a Time Warner Cable van, and that kind of stuff. But anyways, before I even showed up, before Mom decided to call me over there, this man was trying to blame it on the computer, but basically blame it on the Metallic's BlackMax, saying the BlackMax is having problems, trying to blame it on the router, saying trying to every way possible to basically say it's not Time Warner Cable's fault, it's your own equipment's fault. And so basically I went over there, and once I showed up, he kind of straightened things out a little bit quicker. But that's still only the tip of the iceberg. He wanted to do all sorts of different troubleshooting things, like go through the parents' browser, look at settings on the computer, look at specs on the computer. Yeah, like the BlackMax was like really underpowered and couldn't browse the web, for goodness sakes. Yeah, he wanted to look up computer specs, and he wanted to look up, he wanted to direct connect the machine to the modem, like my router was bricking up or something, and that was not the case. I basically just sat there and internally laughed my tail off as he just kept poking around with things, and he kept calling these technicians that their tech support. Basically, they say Time Warner Cable has different tech support for consumers and employees. I'm pretty sure that's true. But the tech support on the employee side must have been they must have been smoking something the night before. I'll be honest with you, because I'll explain this to you here in a sec. But yeah, this man tried to put the blame on the equipment, saying that the router was messed up or the computer was messed up and things like that. And I said, no, it's not. He checked the signal from his tablet, mind you. He had a little tablet in his hand. He was able to supposedly check the signal from that. And so your signal's fine, which turns out the signal was in fact fine, but it gets better. In considering the situation when your internet, your cable internet is not working properly, and you terminate your signal as a-okay, wouldn't you check the settings and the modem to just make sure it's provisioned properly, make sure it's programmed properly to receive the proper signal, give you the proper speeds and that kind of stuff? He didn't even touch the modem settings. He never went into the modem's web browser, and he never went into the web browser and actually went to the modem's web page and looked at any settings. Now he might have looked at some settings on his tablet, but he just, like I mentioned, stupid simple issue to fix. Of course, if I was authorized to do so, I could have fixed it myself, probably. But but like I mentioned, he overlooked things, and he spent probably half a freaking hour on his cell phone with these Time Warner people. They tried to say that the account was not properly set up, trying to say that despite my parents paying for 50 megs, they were getting basic internet. And get this, he quoted. Now you can go to Time Warner Cable's website, and I can probably do it right now, just while I'm doing this video. Let's see. And look up what speeds they offer in my area. Because basically, they tried to say that Time Warner Cable was giving my parents a basic internet speed of 50 megs down and 1 megabit up. Time Warner Cable does not offer a 50 megs down, 1 meg up plan. They simply don't do it. I'm just trying to get an idea here. Of course, on the main page, it shows just a couple of plans at a glance. I do know there are some basic plans, but I do know, for example, the everyday low price internet plan is like 1 meg down, and I'm sorry, 3 megs down and 1 meg up, something like that. And I think basic is a little bit more than that. But there is no such thing as a 50 megs down, 1 meg up plan. And this guy kept telling me, he kept swearing me that he was, that he was right. This is what tech support was telling him. And I was like, you out of your freaking mind, basically. And then he also tried to say that my parents' Surfboard 6121 modem was not the proper modem for the 50 megs internet plan, which that was wrong, because I already knew he was wrong, because I dealt with this in the past. Neighbor Steve and Mary had the same exact modem. But also, I took him to Time Warner's own website and showed him that the 6121 modem is in fact compatible with Time Warner plans up to 60 megs. So he was wrong there, and he kept telling me that he's trying to help me out, and I said the way you can help me out is by coming out here and actually checking the things that you were assigned to check, like check the signal. So I had to go back and forth between my place and there because I had company at the time. So this guy, this total winner, goes out there and pops the cover off the box on the back of the house. And mind you, Time Warner Cable's technicians about 2 or 3 years ago installed what's called an equalizer. Well, that's what they told me anyway. It's basically a powered amp that it actually gets power feed from inside the house and uses that to amplify the signal to every outlet that is served by that amplifier. Been a very, very handy device. It's worked very well with boosting the signal ever since I was installed. I had any signal problems, which that's why I was kind of surprised that they were telling me they was having issues with signal. Anyways, this technician, he replaced something in the box out back. He probably replaced that equalizer amp that probably didn't need to be replaced to begin with. He replaced it anyway, and get this. He didn't bother to check and see if the services were working. He left the premises without checking to see if anything was working. So basically, he left and there was no services working. None. The TV was down in both the garage and the house, and the internet was out. I explained to my mom and dad to go ahead and reset these devices, but the one in the garage, despite resetting it, still had no TV service. Well, guess what? Mr. Total Winner, he forgot to rescrew in the coax that actually serves the garage. He left the connection completely unplugged. He left it unplugged. This guy, I'll be honest, he's a total freaking winner. For an epic fail of a cable technician. Now, I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you, it's just ridiculous. From the first phone call to having the person you could barely understand, that barely speaks English and apparently doesn't know what they're doing with the technical side of things, to this technician that comes on site, who was really a total waste of Time Warner Cable's salary, and a total waste of my time, my parents' time. This is total waste of time for him to even come out, because guess what? I called Time Warner Cable last night, just hours after he left. I called Time Warner Cable last night, explained, and I let him have about this technician, because he really needs to be fired. He really needs to be fired and never considered for rehire ever again, because he just, it was terrible. It was like a dressed up monkey trying to fix your cable, basically. But so anyways, I called Time Warner Cable last night, and I had this phone call recorded as well. And what's absolutely hilarious about Time Warner Cable is you call into their automated thing, you punch in the phone number for the account, and it basically said, there was a technician scheduled to come out to your place today. Is that what you're calling about? And I press, I'd say yes. It actually connects me with technical support for not internet service but TV service. So I try to unload myself and explain everything. Like, I'm with TV service. Now I need to transfer you over to internet. I'm like, are you serious? So anyways, they transferred me to internet, and actually, for the first time in this whole situation, I actually got connected with somebody who knows what they're doing. Because I explained that, he basically just confirmed that he just asked me a couple of questions, is basically, asking me, is their modem leased or owned? And I said it's owned. They explain, the modem they have, and they say, okay, we see here, and we do see that you're having issues. Basically, they said, they basically, he picked it up within a couple minutes, basically, and he said your modem's not provisioned properly. I need to go ahead and fix that. So he reprovisioned the modem from his side, reprovisioned it. Took maybe a minute or two, let the modem reboot, and run another speed test, and bingo, that fixed the problem. We didn't need to, have some technician come out and waste her time and just that like a total fool of himself. And we didn't need all, basically, sometimes it helps to listen to your customers because sometimes they might know what they're talking about. In the case, I knew what I was talking about. But anyways, just for an example, with the technician that came on site, he was basically calling the people on the phones a bunch of idiots. He literally said people on the phones don't know what they're talking about. He literally said that, and I'm like, really? And of course, now consider I work basically I work in ITS for a local community college, and that that would be the equivalent of me going to one of our clients who let's say a client calls the ITS help desk and they put in a ticket regarding a hardware issue. That'd be like me going out to the client saying, okay, our help desk is a bunch of fools. I need to go ahead and check this and check that. No, that's not the way. That's not the way to do things. You don't throw your help desk or your customer service or your over the phone text under the bus. That is just so freaking rude. But anyways, as I mentioned, your Time Warner Cable, the last tech I spoke with, he was actually very helpful because he actually resolved the problem within a few minutes. So basically two technicians over the phone, one who couldn't barely understand, the other tried to blame it on signal, and a technician who comes out and to actually look at things and just acts like a monkey talking on the phone, like you just don't understand what the heck he's doing, trying to blame things. Oh, it's not Time Warner Cable's fault. It's your computer. Oh, it's your router. It's not our faults. And after all that, it's amazing to think that this one technician, competent technician, resolved the problem within 5 minutes once he picked up the problem. And it didn't take him long to figure out what was going on either, because it was bingo right on it. So yeah, I tell you, and it's amazing. Charter bought Time Warner Cable back in the summer, and supposedly they're going to be making some good changes in 2017. Yeah, we'll see if it happens. I hope it does. Charter does have a better reputation than Time Warner Cable does. I will say that I guess Time Warner Cable employed maybe some of these incompetent techs need to go ahead and proudly wear their Time Warner Cable logos on their shirts and act like a bunch of fools. They need to get. I guess they have to get over with before the name changes over to Spectrum, because we don't need to spoil a brand new name now, do we? Time Warner Cable has been, that name's been spoiled bad enough over the years. But and I'm not saying all cable technicians at Time Warner are bad. Like I mentioned, I've seen good ones and I've seen ones that apparently that don't know how to tie a shoe. This is crazy. I can say Charter. That's cool. You bought Time Warner Cable. Hopefully you can fix this big old pile of crap you purchased. But yeah, that's just ridiculous. And that's why I'm going to title this whole series the Time Warner Cable Internet Disaster. Because their technicians, at least the first two phone techs and the on-site tech, they act like a bunch of morons, and it's ridiculous. Anyways, I'm going to upload this. I'm going to upload 2 other videos. You're going to have the first phone call that I made to Time Warner Cable, and you're going to have the second phone call I made. The second phone call was after the on-site tech showed up. So I was pretty hot after that point. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, or listening in rather.